the most wonderful time, the most wonderful time, the most wonderful time.
And Christmas evening on BBC One continues with the world television premiere of the feature film starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Everyone telling you be, everyone telling you be, everyone telling you be.
In 60 Minutes on 2, the original feature film of MASH, starring Donald Sutherland. That's after the Old Grey Whistle Test, live from the Rainbow Theatre, London, where we're about to join Radio 1 in stereo for the Kinks' Christmas concert.
It's the most, it's the most, it's the most.
Right now, BBC One invites you to join all the many guests together with ABBA for the Mike Yarwood Christmas Show.
Here on BBC One in 40 minutes, Penelope Keith celebrates Christmas to the manner born. First, a host of guests and personalities join in the festivities in the Mike Yarwood Christmas Show.
With a musical fable for Christmas, Babushka.
And Dean Stockwell are the stars of the swashbuckling Rudyard Kipling adventure set in India. Kim.
BBC Two Christmas Matinee, The Toast of New Orleans.
But composed by Liszt as Christmas music for the home. The pianist is Rhonda Gillespie.
Morning, 23 minutes past 1, and BBC Two is back in the afternoon at 10 past 2. Well, if you're off to bed now, or perhaps even staying up to make a night of it, then there's always Radio 2, of course, throughout the night.
Now on BBC Two we begin Christmas Eve in seasonal style. Alistair Sim and Kathleen Harrison star in the famous film version of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
On BBC One, before Noel Edmonds' live Christmas breakfast show, the weather prospects from Michael.
BBC One, another big deal for Robbie Box comes after half an hour of ever-decreasing... being with us tonight. We hope we added to the pleasure of your Boxing Day. And now, from all of us here on BBC Two, may I wish you a very good night. Good night to you.
With the first sighting of BBC One's Christmas symbol, we continue this morning's programmes now with the list.
45 minutes for a team of television professionals, pitting their knowledge against the victorious Payne family in a Telly-Addicts Christmas special. But first, Jim's just got even kicking among the EastEnders.
Now, as we're just 1 hour and 1 minute into Boxing Day already, we come to a close. I trust you've had a pleasant Christmas day, and we look forward, perhaps, to the pleasure of your company sometime tomorrow on BBC Two. Meanwhile, this is Peter Bolgar on behalf of all of us here, wishing you a very good night.
Good night, John. Well, now that he's worn that on national television, that's one present John won't be able to take back. So far as the rest of us here on BBC Two are concerned, we're ready to climb into our respective night gear. So from me, David Miles, on behalf of Fiona, Alan, Mark and Graham working in our control room, may I wish you a peaceful night and a very happy Boxing Day. Good
This is BBC One, and now we go live to the Telecom Tower in London to spend Christmas morning with Noel.
A very good morning to you, and may I be the first today to wish you a very happy Christmas from BBC and away. First. Good morning and a very happy Christmas.
back and enjoy this enchanting award-winning film. Australia. So sit back and enjoy this enchanting award-winning film.
And before that, we embark on a 2,000-mile journey across the United States by means of transport that in 70 years has become part of the American way of life, and which they call riding the dog.
Christmas Day on BBC One. Christmas Day on BBC One.
Now on to, in the year in which the United Nations Convention for Children has been signed, we begin a new series of short dramas highlighting the plight of children around the world. The first story focuses on Randy from the Philippines. How are the...
Now BBC One takes off in the company of brothers Trotter and Trotter. The holiday of a lifetime beckons Del Boy and Rodney in a special feature-length Only Fools and Horses. Fasten your seatbelts. We're about to hit the transatlantic high life.
Well, on BBC One now, the first of our bumper crop of Christmas Eve films offers the ultimate transport of delight. Dick Van Dyke and Sally Ann Howes star in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Let's find out what's in store for us weather-wise on Christmas Day with Bill Giles.
A very Merry Christmas to you, and a very good morning from BBC Two.
Now on BBC One, a great adventure's about to begin for Jim Ferguson, an unsuspecting New York businessman whose wildest dreams could never have predicted just what was in store for the next 90 minutes or so.
First on to comic animation from Tex Avery. Now on to a comedy of errors courtesy of Jacques Tati as a village postman delivering trouble.
For the weather story, we turn now on BBC One to a rather snowy fish.
Well, now, it's already a white Christmas in some parts of the country. What about the rest of us? With the details, here's Peter Cockcroft.
Well now, since it's very late on Christmas Eve, or should I say Christmas Day, and because we've come to the end of our schedule on BBC Two, there's just a couple of things to do before we bid you good night.
Well, now on BBC One, animated adventure and a dangerous journey through the land before time. Shoes off before that on BBC One, you're invited to the Bouquet residence.
Good morning, a very happy Christmas to you from all of us on BBC Two.
Bill Giles has an offer we can hardly refuse now on BBC. And to ease us into the night, expectations on the weather front from Bill Giles.
Getting into the festive spirit the Britas way. First on BBC One, The Empires, Outward Bound.
First on BBC Two, the magic of the season has even touched The Simpsons.
Only the best for BBC One. Top names, top sounds from a Top of the Pops year.
A fantasy adventure in a magical kingdom now on BBC.
This is BBC One. Now on this night, which celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, we go live to Salisbury Cathedral for Christmas Midnight Mass.
The first showing on British network television of the supernatural thriller based on a novel by Henry James. Valerie Bertinelli and Diana Rigg head the cast of The Haunting of Helen Walker. It's Christmas at Corky's, first on BBC Two, with guests Hattie.
Leslie Garrett and Charlotte Church are just two of the superstar singers on BBC One now in a fabulous festive musical.
All your festive favourites now on BBC One, the top tunes of '98. All your festive favourites now on BBC One, the top tunes of '98. The news first on BBC One. First on BBC One, of course, the great thing about professionals is they make it look so easy.
An Oscar-winning Western from John Huston now on BBC Two. In the hunt for gold, Humphrey Bogart discovers the darker side to human nature.
Celebrating the birth of Christ now on BBC One, our Christmas Day service with Brenda Emanis.
A glittering, multi-Oscar-winning musical now on BBC Two. With Embraceable You, Our Love Is Here to Stay, and lots more legendary Gershwin songs. Gene Kelly is an American in Paris.
Good morning and welcome to Christmas Eve here on BBC One. It's nice to see you up nice and early, getting in some practice for tomorrow. Right, let's kick the day off and hot-foot it to Lapland. It's CBBC with Michael and Angelica.
A very good morning to you and welcome to our Christmas weekend here on BBC Two. And kicking off our Christmas Eve here on BBC Two, the chance to catch up on yesterday's action in...
Now on BBC One, the news with Matthew Umraliwala. An afternoon of sport now on BBC One Grandstand with Claire Balding at Act. So now it's the first of BBC One's two Christmas Day visits to Albert Square. So now on BBC One, it's the biggest, boldest adventure in history as an all-star cast goes in search of dinosaurs in the hope that they'll return from the lost world.
Doing the weekly shop in the animal kingdom is not an easy task. David Attenborough now on BBC Two with the trials.
Follow that star tonight. Parkinson at Christmas presents you with a sackload of guests, including Tom Jones, Alistair McGowan, Martine McCutcheon and Dame Edna Everage. That's on BBC One at 10:15.
Settle in for a great musical Christmas Eve now on BBC Two with carols from Kings in 55 minutes
after a seasonal opera.
Canada by train. Mountaineer Chris Bonington's great railway journey takes him via the Rockies in 5 minutes here on BBC Two, after we've made an extra stop in Sussex.
Rolf remembers a rescued dog featured back in the first ever series of Animal Hospital tonight at 7:30 on BBC One. Now, though, we're out to make some money.
Ozzy and Kelly, Emma Bunton, just a few of the big names joining Parky at 7:10 for Christmas night with the stars.
Room 101 in half an hour here on BBC Two after we take a trip back in time via the TV listings to 1973 with memories of a royal wedding, Pan's People and Mr. Ben in a new series now. That was The Week We Watched.
Stay up late tonight for Room 101, The Fast Show, and stay up very late for Texas on Later with Jules. First on BBC Two, time to dust off the TV list.
Now, a roundup of the local news in Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. Tonight's Look North. It's the time for giving and paying for it in the new year. Fiona Bruce reveals the real story in half an hour here on BBC One.
This is BBC One in Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. Now the BBC News at 10 o'clock with Hugh Edwards and Look North with...
Needed to rejuvenate an overgrown garden. We're searching for cash in the attic at 1:45 here on BBC One.
This
So, do you remember who the new Wembley Bridge is to be named after? BBC One tests the nation, the quiz of the year 2005 tonight at 8:30. Now...
The going's good for Bargain Hunt at Warwick Racecourse in 45...
Skiing, World Cup show jumping and the final of the UK Snooker Championship. Sunday Grandstand has it all from 12:20. The first on BBC Two, it's World Club Championship football, live. The final of the UK Snooker Championship reaches a climax tonight at 8, and it's also live this afternoon here on BBC Two as part of Sunday Grandstand.
It's the one for Christmas. Your festive season starts right here with BBC One's sparkling Saturday night. Now, 3 couples are about to become 2. The prize, a place in the final of Strictly Come.
Now on BBC Two, out into the fresh air for the first of 2 heats where dog and owner come face to face with some stroppy sheep.
Snowflakes glistening, children listening, and I'm getting overexcited again. Christmas starts here on BBC... How did we get penguins to do that? Christmas starts here on BBC One. We're slightly later than planned. We're back with a couple skating on very thin ice.
Yeah. We're on BBC One. Hey, who turned out the lights? Gromit, where's me hat? Oh.
It's a sparkling Saturday night on BBC One with some especially sharp dance moves in high definition on BBC One HD. You know it's Christmas when the stage is set for the semi-finals of Strictly.
Trapped in a burning hospital. They're preparing for the worst on Casualty in 45 minutes. Before that on BBC One, a little earlier than billed, plans for a takeover of Camelot.
This is BBC One in the South. Now the BBC News with Hugh Edwards and Laura Trant at 10 o'clock.
Christmas 2012 on BBC One. It's showtime, so let's switch on the lights in Albert Square and hope no one blows a fuse.
It's showtime.
Oh.
Well, we all knew Tom could sing, but Hugh playing the piano, now that's a gift. The decorations are up on BBC One, so we can officially say we're merrily on the way to the prospect of having a wonderful Christmas. The festive season is a shared experience with us, so keep a lookout for all we've got to give to you. The perfect Saturday night present now. It's Strictly. We're all the richer for having Chris Evans here with the National Lottery live in 50 minutes. First, Fletcher's in the doghouse, and he's not alone. The series finale of The Paradise is tomorrow night at 8 on BBC One. Will it be Happy Ever After for Moray and Denise? Relationship angst for Fletch in Casualty in 45 minutes, after Hercules goes in search of the woman who's disappeared with a head full of serpents and his heart.
Seasonal inspiration from James Martin's Christmas Kitchen in 45 minutes. Then Flog It celebrates Agatha Christie at 4:30. But now on BBC One, Aled Jones follows in Roman footsteps.